Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a minute since we've been here on the LVC Esports channel, but we are finally back, and we have some great matchups here coming this week and even the weekend for NECC Nationals. I am so excited to get back into it after a week off, and for me personally, casting a lot of more amateur play for Valorant, Rocket League, Call of Duty, Overwatch, all that sort of stuff. We are back here, and we are ready to go here with NECC Nationals, LVC, starting things off with Valorant. We'll have LVC taking on Simon Fraser University. This is a really interesting matchup for me personally, just seeing the difference in distance between these two teams. But already the teams are basically ready to start. So while they're getting ready to get things going here, it'll be just a second before they start, but they'll be starting here pretty soon. I want to go over the picks and bans for the maps. So to start things out, SFU, they banned Haven, so Haven out of the pool, and LVC banned Icebox. So the first two bans, Haven and Icebox. And the first map will be Fracture. That is the SFU pick. They got to pick maps 1 and 3. Well, they didn't pick the decider, but they got to ban the first part of the second set of bans. And so with their first pick, they picked Fracture. LVC decided to pick Defense to start things off. So to begin this best of 3 series, we will have Fracture as map number 1. And for the second map, we will have Pearl. LVC got the chance to pick Pearl. It gets banned a lot of the time, and this is one of LVC's better maps, so they're certainly happy to have this one in the pool. And they'll be starting off on the attack as SFU also picked Defense this time for the second map. So that led into the next set of bans, where SFU would ban Ascent and LVC would ban Lotus, both maps that both teams don't really like. SFU coming from the Pacific Frontier Division, which is interestingly enough, as Pacific Frontier had both SFU teams in it, at least their champions teams. They may have, I think they had more in Emergence. I'd have to look again, but I believe I believe they had more teams. But regardless, SFU Esports Flamingo is ranked in the top 25, so good work from them. They were in the Pacific Frontier. They were the 3rd seed in that division going into playoffs, and SFU Black, which is the team that LVC will be playing tonight, they finished 3-6 in that pool, which is not bad, especially considering who's in there. I see Oregon, British Columbia Black, Miracle, all very solid teams there. And interestingly enough, going even further with SFU in the playoffs, SFU Black, this team that LVC is playing tonight, actually upset Miracle 2-0 in the first round of playoffs. And seeing that was played at midnight, that is insane to me. But I guess it's because it's midnight ET. It's only 8 p.m. for them. So that's a bit different because that was a Pacific game. Pacific 3 hours behind EST, or Eastern Daylight Time, is apparently, I've been looking into like doing casting for different orgs, and a lot of them just keep telling me Eastern Daylight Time is now what it's called. So whatever time zone it is. Anyways, they ended up beating SJDC Miracle 2-0, and they ended up playing their team 1 in the semifinals, and they ended up losing 13-6, 13-0. But again, that's a top 25 team that they are talking about right there. So that makes a lot of sense. But now we are here ready to get map number 1 started. We are here at the agent select screen. And as I said, map 1, Fracture, a map LVC has played a fair bit over the course of the past few months. Last semester, it was a big one for them, right next to Pearl. But here we will see Fracture as it hasn't been as common for LVC to play this time around, but they still are at least in favor of having this map in the pool. It's not their worst map, especially as you saw, or as I had mentioned before, they banned Icebox. So we are here on the agent select, and already both teams fully selected. Sardog going to be playing the Breach, which is an interesting choice. John on Jet. He's typically a Raze, so seeing John play Jet is something that's a bit more new. Crisper on Cypher, so the roles for Sardog and Crisper end up switching, as Crisper typically would be the one picking up that Breach. Usually wouldn't play Breach, would be more of a KO player, but ends up playing Breach here, and gives up the Breach for the Cypher, which typically would be picked up by Sardog. Zario on Raze. I didn't even get the full way through the lineup, but Zario on Raze is really interesting. Zario is the initiator. And also, this is a double duelist comp. It is in the meta nowadays to be a double duelist comp. And it's really, at this point, an argument between, do you play double duelist, do you play double initiator? It really depends on the map and how the team is feeling that day. And I guess LVC is just feeling the double duelist today. And really, What is this? They are CSGO stacking. You can tell where these players come from, at least Zario and John. Well, John not so much, but Zario, a CS player at heart. And look at these long-range fights. Lunar ended up buying the Sheriff there. Gets one, but it doesn't even matter. Sardog gonna take down two. Will take out Icarus alongside of Lunar. But all that beat control, not gonna do much for LVC. As you can see, the rotation has come in. Regular Moo gonna be all the way over at A, planting the spike. And now LVC have to do a 4-on-3 retake, and Zario also at 6 HP. But he gets the headshot on the Slayer, so it might not even matter. These last two players, Breach and Brim, Itchy and Regular Moo, respectively, gonna be playing through main. And LVC need to start making their move. They can still win this, but it's going to be a bit of a close one, as they're not gonna have a lot of time to go for that defuse. Itchy, hearing all the noise, throws out the concussion, and now the spike starting to be pinged for the defuse. Not gonna find anything just yet. LVC need to hop on the spike. They need to get it defused, but it's not gonna go. And that will be round number 1 over to Simon Fraser. A 2v4 clutch as SFU hit the rotation, and that is what gives them the round. Playing quick enough to make it work. And despite starting that round with losing all their presence over at B, it doesn't even matter because all of LVC had rotated at that point off of the A site, gave up the entirety of it for free, and that's really what gives the round over to SFU. Gives them a free plant, and LVC take way too much time off the clock going for that rotation. And now SFU stealing round number 1 away. Not what you like to see to start things off for LVC, but obviously first round of the game, and you need 13 to win, or if it goes to overtime, you need to win by 2. A lot of noise being made down here over in Tunnel. Crisper certainly hearing all of this, but he's only got a shorty up in tower, so he's going to have to wait for the engagements to come to him. Is the rotation going to come over to A once again? Looks like for now, no. They're going to see what they can get done over here at B. See if they can make a play. It'll really come down to Crisper. If Crisper is able to get anything done on this site over in tower, he's gonna have a lot of work in front of him though. Takes out Slayer, barely gets out of his life, but again, just playing a very close angle. Might be able to pick another, but it's gonna be close. No, he gets pre-fired. Wise pre-fire there from SFU. And LVC still looking in T spawn, but really it's gonna be the tower place of attack, and Juice not able to get the job done. Gets traded out, but it's not going to be quite enough. And there you go. You can see it now. LVC starting to light up the kill feed. Icarus just has to peek. Not going to find anything. John making it down to a 1v1. Lunar gets a kill onto Zario with the turret. So Sardog has to clutch up against Lunar, and Lunar going to win the fight. Gets very close at the end there. Sardog having a chance to clutch up. Possibly if Icarus, or Lunar, sorry, doesn't get that kill onto Zario with the turret. Things go a bit differently in that round, but now it'll be the bonus. LVC looking to bounce back, and this is typically a round you're going to see them win, as they just have a massive weapon advantage. And realistically, just looking at the scoreboard here, you can kind of see what I mean. It's all rifles for LVC and pretty much all sheriffs for everyone on SFU, outside of Lunar, who has that Spectre that won them the last round. But having these sheriffs, if your aim is good enough, and certainly these players have that ability, they can take it right out of your hands. And that's a first blood there. John getting a bit overzealous. Tries to spot some of the attacking players of SFU, and he pays for it. Leaves Crisper by himself on site, getting hit through the wall. Trying not to give up that rifle, but it's not going to be enough as Regular Moo ends up picking it up. Tripwire gets taken down, and a lot of information now to LVC. Although, again, it's going to be a rotation. Juice takes down Slayer, backs away. Still in a good spot to stay alive here. Again, this round is still very in favor of LVC, looking at the rifle difference. But, of course, things have happened. Flash comes in. Sardog just helping his team out. And Juice a couple more kills as Zario now starting to walk on site. Already an orbital strike getting called, and that's really early. Crisper takes down Moo, and that leaves Lunar by themselves. Spectre in hand, and there's not a lot you can do, especially at this range. But if you see some whiffage come out from Juice here, could at least be something. Zardog, though, looking to peek, make it a tradable position. Doesn't even need to be so. Juice making sure he gets loose early. And that'll be a 4K for the freshman in round number 3. LVC now 1 round away from tying this back up. And not that they were in a big deficit to begin with, but again, you don't want to start down early, especially in Nationals. The way this Nationals group stage works, by the way, while we have a bit of time to set things up here, as we can see the teams getting ready for the next round. NECC Nationals starts with the group stage. This is this match, and tomorrow LVC will take on Mizzou, number 13 ranked Mizzou, I believe they're 13, in a match to determine who will make it out of the group. And we'll move on to the bracket. Top 8 make the bracket. Top team from each group. Look at this. Juice has the overall strike, decides not to call it. So the nade gets a lot of damage down. But now the plant is in, and LVC need to go for a retake. Orbital strike still in the hands of Juice. That 4K last round going to be massive for him. Although regular move again getting a first blood onto John Cook. John not having a good game at the current moment. Trades now coming in. Both those nanoswarms come in very early, so they're not going to have those for the retake. And look at this, John managed, or sorry, Zario. I'm so used to John playing raised. Look at this pinch, it comes in. Now Crisper forced to clutch a 1v2, but he's not going to have the angles. Good shot on the move, but it's going to be for naught. He at least gets out Lunar as well. Makes it costly, but that's really going to be it. As again, SFU taking the A site. Keeping themselves ahead, trying to continue to extend their lead. But as I was saying, the Nationals tournament here, it works by every there are 8 groups. It's least in champions. There are 8 groups, and there are 3 teams in each group for Nationals. The top team from each group moves on to the bracket where a national champion will be determined. That national champion could be anybody. We have Northwood, we have Fisher. Of course, the 2 favorites to make that national final, but of course they have to make it through their group, and they have to make it through the bracket first. So now we're in the round number 5. John pops the Blade Storm. Zardog holding towards Dish. Some of the pressure is initially going to come through, though. It'll be A main. John in a precarious position. At least has the Blade Storm out, but this isn't going to help a whole lot if he can't see. That smoke going to give him some space. As Slayer and Itchy looking to move their way up. They're trying to guess that position of John Cook, but for them, there's nothing cooking in the kitchen. Crisper getting detected by that knife. And now he has to be very careful. Zario going to fall early. This time the first blood going on to Zario. Crisper at least gets Moo. But that's going to be a 1-for-1. And that's going to be the B site completely given up. And 1-for-1s aren't quite enough as John can't get the shot off quick enough.
You should run. 30 seconds
Juice
left.
causing the orbital strike. Not going to do anything. The lockdown coming in from Lunar just to make sure they have this site controlled. But they don't really need it. 2v4. Juice and Zardog needing to make a difference here. Start moving their way towards the site, but again, their presence being detected. Mark's coming in. Juice at least takes down Icarus from the flash, but Zardog going to be left to himself, and it's a 1v3 with essentially 0 time remaining to get that defuse. So Zardog just going to play the exit kills, see if he can bait anyone out. But really, it's not going to be much. He may actually get shot in the back here, too. The door's going to open, and he will get shot right in the back of the skull. Itchy makes it a 4K. And again, SFU looking good. So far, starting out 4-1 here. Despite Slayer, their duelist at 0-4. it hasn't really meant a whole lot. It hasn't really made much of a difference for this SFU squad. They've just been so clinical on their takes, clearing every single nook and cranny, making sure they make use of the utility that is at their disposal. The double duelist comp right now not working out for LVC. It really relies on you winning your ones, and at the moment, that's not happening. As again, Lunar and Icarus down by the ropes, trying to hold this cross. Lunar gonna back off, and Zario actually gonna make him pay for it. Lunar takes some damage on the rope too, but the spike is right there in spawn. So it'll be down to Juice to make a play here. On A, can he at least get one? He does. That's a huge pick for Juice. And here comes Zario with the ultimate. The rocket gonna just do a little bit of damage to Slayer. The pistol gonna do the rest. And now LVC have site control again. They don't give it up for much. Lunar, though, at least makes it a trade.
One enemy
the stock market is a cruel game. His trades are not enough right now for SFU. It's all down to Lunar, trapped in the corner. Sardog taking down Lunar to close out the round. LVC looking much stronger there, finding the first blood, and that's really been where these rounds have opened on up so far. Zario opening up the round there. I believe onto Icarus, who couldn't quite get onto the rope. Icarus was holding the opposite angle of where Slayer was at. So that rope behind him wasn't actually the one that you could go back on. That cost him his life. Couldn't even get a kill out of it either, which was, I think, the biggest part of that round. And now we're going to have 5 stacks on both sides, but unfortunately for LVC, they're going to have guessed wrong, and this is going to give the entire site up over to SFU. They're going to have to rely on their break once again. There are not great weapons for the side of SFU, but they have the full site control. They can start getting their setup going. Going to see 3 players rotate through T. Sardog looking to come through mid, and John on the pinch through dish. This is going to have to be a very quick play, though. LVC don't have a lot of time to work with. Zario could be huge here on this flank if it comes in correctly. Spots the head of Slayer, and that's 1 down. It's only ends up being a trade, but there's very little time remaining. Sardog takes out Lunar, but now all the picks need to start coming in. Zario managed to get out of there just in time. Sardog going for the defuse. And look at this, Icarus doesn't have the gun out. Defuse still coming in. Sardog, though, not going to get it. Icarus gets the nade lineup. And again, a clutch from SFU. Itchy not going to stay alive after the bomb defuses, but after the bomb explodes, but it doesn't even matter. SFU continuing to come in clutch here. The nade from Icarus comes just in time to get Sardog off that defuse before it goes off. And that is going to be a very rough round for LVC. A tough pill to swallow, as they needed that one. They needed to put it back in their hands. They needed to make it closer, especially to lose with that much of an advantage. Guessing incorrectly on the site. Again, we're seeing a different play here from SFU. Their variety in plays has been pretty deep so far. They've really made it hard for LVC to guess what they're going to do next. John gonna have the opening duel, not gonna be able to dash, so now he's caught out. He's caught out, he can't do a single thing about it, doesn't get the kills. Crisper's shots are super shaky, so he's not gonna get a thing out of that either. Icarus takes Juice, Itchy takes Crisper, everything falling apart for LVC. It's down to Sardog and Zario, and Itchy already has the spike down. Both players for LVC hiding in this smoke.
Last player standing.
But it's not going to matter. It's a flawless for SFU, and they are storming in map number 1. 6-2. And LVC have just not looked like themselves here on Fracture. They look very unpolished right now. And here we go. The timeout for LVC finally getting called in, as they're going to have to save this round. And that's not a good sight if you are LVC. Again, we've been seeing John struggle a lot lately. And as the duelist, that simply cannot happen. Again, he's here at 3-7. Not something you want to see from your duelist. But then again, You did pick 2. Zario is at 7 and 5, so it kind of balances out there. And on the other side, I mean, my point can honestly be invalidated. Looking at SFU, Slayer, their only duelist is 1 and 6, and they are up 6-2 right now. LVC not winning their ones as often as they would like to, and that's really what it's going to come down to at this current moment, as they're getting onto site, but the second they get on site, they are losing every single fight, and that's not going to give them rounds. That is only going to make things harder for them to win. But we shall see what comes of it when we get out of this timeout. The defense just not looking great for LVC. Only getting 2 rounds so far. Still a bit to go in this first half, but not the way you wanted to start off this Nationals matchup. This time, it'll only be Lunar holding over towards rope. And again, LVC just trying to get control of Arcade, but again, guessing incorrectly where they want to go. And again, they're just giving up the A site for free. Regular move going for the plant. LVC have repeatedly just allowed SFU to storm onto the A site uncontested. And this is what's continuing to bite them right now. They are repeatedly giving up A for free, and that's not helping them get any presence on the map. Azario tries to get pushed out, but Slayer's going to find a double with the ultimate, and it's already all down to Stardog. That's a flawless that ends at about 3.5 seconds. SFU, again, getting the A site for free, not even being challenged. And LVC still without many answers to the SFU attack.
That goes there.
And if they don't figure things out soon, they will start off this series down 1-0, heading into Pearl.
Okay,
Pearl definitely a comfort map for LVC, but they're getting blown out in map 1. It's still a bit tough to recover there. As again, LVC, this time trying to look over towards main, the place where they've been getting bit from in the past few rounds. SFU going straight away from it. They won their last round. They don't want to go back right away. And this time it's going to be a full B push. And again, LVC are already off site. They're going to have to retake from T-spawn, and that's not ideal, again, if you're LVC. Trying to play these aggressive angles, trying to get map control early, but really it's just flipping them onto the other side of the map and forcing retakes from disadvantageous positions. So now LVC get the info that they need, but again, the spike just gonna go down. Orbital strike called in from Juice. So spike doesn't go down immediately, but Sardog getting blooded, so it's still going to be an advantage for SFU as trades now going in. Zario pops the ultimate there, gets 1, and LVC now just gonna hop the defuse. Zario just gonna stick this. Well, the only thing that really needs to be watched here is tower and main. It's gonna be 3 dead for LVC. All players fall. Slayer goes on the long flank and manages to make it 2. As LVC, again, just trying to play the retake, and it doesn't work out for them. This is going to be a tough one to get. And starting down again, as we get closer and closer to what could be the conclusion of this map, you don't want to see LVC start down 1-0, as if you lose your first series in Nationals, at least in the group stage, you're basically done. You have to win your pool, and you only get 2 chances to win a series, so it's not a very good look to lose your first match. You just have to hope the other team wins. It makes it a it makes it a 3-way tie, but that is immensely rare.
You should run.
Now round 11. Lockdown called in. LVC don't have anything that they can use to take this down. John trying to get aggressive, and he does. Takes down Slayer, just dashes away, throws the smoke to go into it. Tries to peek Lunar again, but has the turret. Stardog can't flick back quick enough. Tries to get away from the flash, but It's not going to be a fast enough flick. Crisper and Juice now left in a 2v4. Trying to get something done here.
Last player standing.
As now it's all down to Juice. Only has a Sheriff in hand.